Hey there, you Hollywood-obsessed movie fans. Welcome to Barenaked Reviews. I'm Rishi B, and I'm here, of course, with my lovely wife, Benafsa.
Hello.
And we're talking the 2017 Oscars, which is rewarding the 2016 films till they're bare naked. Before we get into the Oscars, I wanted to let you know you can be a guest of honor and pick the topic of a future episode by giving feedback via email to barenakedreviews@gmail.com, liking, sharing posts at the Facebook page or the YouTube account, and sending tweets to @barenakedrevs. There's all sorts of things on the Facebook page. For example, a video of me singing Tom Jones's What's New Pussycat. Instead of a pussycat, I have in the video a pussy hat. Isn't that fun?
Go women's movement.
Go women. And leave me reviews, hopefully positive, on iTunes. And you can get more episodes at rishib.com. So let's get into it. You know, the Oscars are coming up and there's all sorts of buzz that you can see. For example, just today, actually, so we're recording this on the Saturday before the 26th, which is when the Oscars air, an Oscar nomination was taken away for someone who did audio editing for the movie 13 Hours, which had Jim from The Office, John Krasinski. His specific crime that he committed was, with the academy, they have all these strict rules about how you can campaign, I guess. I just found out about this from this.
What do you mean by campaign?
Charge. So, actors and stuff, they have to, sort of lobby, because the academy who's selecting who wins the awards, they're all, previous winners. So that's the academy, and there's specific people who make up the academy. And so once you're nominated, you sort of have some time to sort of lobby to be the one that they vote for. And so this person, he called people on the phone and said, hey, I did the audio editing for 13 Hours. Just wanted to let you know it's a great film, and you should keep that in mind when you're voting your elections for who wins.
Is that not allowed?
And that's violating. Apparently, telephone lobbying isn't allowed. You're not allowed to call people.
So how else can you lobby? Social media? Or?
So you go on Jimmy Fallon, or you go and stuff like that,
gotcha.
and be like, hey, so by the way, I'm nominated,
Vote
y'all.
for me.
So when you're on that ballot, make sure you fill the dot. No dimple chads for me.
He probably didn't think that his nomination could get revoked. So is that to be nominated and then have your nomination revoked, is that better than never being nominated at all?
Yeah, and actually, so I'll post a link to this. Apparently, the rest of the audio editing team, they're still nominated. It's just this guy, his name is taken away from the nomination. Yeah.
Oh. Politics.
He made his choice. Yeah, politics, right?
Gosh. It's a tough year for everyone, 2017.
Yeah. But the big thing that everyone's talking about, of course, is how well is La La Land going to do? So La La Land got tied for the most nominations ever, which is 14.
Damn.
And yeah, you can kind of tell who's going to win typically by who wins the other awards that precede the Oscars. So the Golden Globes happened a couple months ago. And then there was also the British Awards, the BAFTAs. And then you have Guild Awards like the Writers Guild Award and the SAG Awards, Screen Actors Guild. And so La La Land did very well in all of those. I mean, everyone is pretty much... That's what all the talk is about, that La La Land is going to clean the house.
The award show dedicated to La La Land.
Yeah, it'll just be a musical and spinning lights and dancing in a... jazz lounge and,
yes,
and
at
stuff
least
like
there's
that.
Jazz.
One cool note that I saw is if the director of La La Land, Damien Chazelle, if he wins, he'd be the youngest winning director ever. So that's pretty cool for him. I think he's 31 or 32.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool for him. Harvard grad. There's other people too, but Natalie Portman is the only one that's coming to mind. Harvard grads who won stuff in the entertainment industry. So
that's cool.
Another point for Harvard, because Harvard needs all the points it can get. Meryl Streep, of course, I think it's pretty much old hat now. Every year you expect Meryl Streep to get nominated.
I feel like every movie that she's in for that year, it's just like an automatic nomination for her, just because, like, it's Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
She deserves a nomination every year.
Yep. I don't know exactly where the numbers are, but she has the most acting nominations ever. So that's pretty cool.
We saw Florence Foster Jenkins.
Yeah, we saw Florence Foster Jenkins, so Meryl Streep. For Best Actress.
For Best Actress.
Florence Foster Jenkins is a woman who is a rich, kind of wealthy debonair of New York City during the 20s. And she held a lot of, like, music things. And she would act while people were, like, performing operas and stuff like that on stage. And so by being involved in that kind of acting, singing society, she eventually held a lot of sway in the society there in New York. She eventually decided that she wanted to get involved herself in singing and stuff.
Mind you, that wasn't her forte.
That's not her forte. Come to find out that her voice is terrible, but she has so much moolah and so much sway in the society there that no one decides to tell her how terrible her voice is. And she ends up recording all these things. It's actually kind of a fascinating story about how much money can really, like, impact your life. And
it's like you can buy your friends and buy their attendance at your concerts.
Yeah. I'd say the story is better than the movie.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah. So if she wins, she would be tied for the most Oscars won by an actor.
Wow.
Or by an actress, I believe.
Okay.
Which is Katharine Hepburn.
Oh.
So that'd be 4 for Meryl Streep. Yeah,
I do
that's
like
pretty
her,
cool.
though, so I'm all for it.
I like her too. That whole movie held up because of Meryl Streep. So yeah, so things to watch for, of course, there's La La Land. But really, what I think everyone is going to be looking for is how political is it going to get this episode? This Oscars this year.
I mean, it's already going to be super politically charged.
If the Golden Globes was any indicator, Meryl Streep made her speech, and it got a lot of buzz after that. Trump tweeted that Meryl Streep is overrated. I thought last year Chris Rock hosted, and everyone was on edge about that because the past couple of years people have been talking about how racist the Oscars are or whatever. There's not a lot of diversity. And so it seems like the Oscars made up for it this year with Fences with Denzel Washington and Hidden Figures with Taraji P. Henson and Janelle Monáe and Octavia Spencer. And then Moonlight with Janelle Monáe again.
Oh,
and this guy who's becoming a big deal lately, I don't have his name in front of me, who people may know as being Remy from House of Cards. I think that's his name.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah. And then he was also the, Cobra from Luke Cage. There's a lot of it seems like the Oscars now is trying to make up for their lack of racial diversity now this year. But we'll see. We'll see who ends up walking away with the Oscars. I have a feeling that La La Land is going to do well, but not as well as everyone is thinking. But
I hope so. I mean, it was really overrated. And there's so many other good movies out there, like Lion, for example, which is my absolute favorite. I'm really hoping that it'll win.
Wins. Yeah. So
Best Picture, but
yeah. Might as well segue into what we think will win. And actually, these main movies here, maybe just quickly touch up on all these: Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. Those are all the main movies this year. Arrival isn't really one of the main movies, I guess, but it's an alien movie. I thought it's like one of the best alien movies ever.
It was definitely unique. It's not like, oh, aliens are scary, they're gonna come attack humans, and oh my gosh, fear.
Yeah.
So, which is typically what an alien movie is.
Right. And you can catch my review of that if you'd like more on that.
And
La La
also
Land
now at Redbox Arrivals.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yep.
La La Land, I'm sure that's streaming everywhere as well or somewhere. La La Land musical, I'm sure everyone knows about it at this point, so we don't really need to spend too much time on that. Manchester by the Sea, you can also catch my review of that on the podcast or at rishibi.com. It's about a guy who's sort of this quiet guy, and then he finds out his brother had died and leaves his brother left his son under Casey Affleck's care. So this like quiet guy all of a sudden has to be like a parent, and sort of the difficulties that come up from that. And it's like a fun little romp in Boston. You know, you get all your Massachusetts stereotypes and all that kind of stuff. Moonlight, it's about growing up in the ghetto, and it's sort of like an artistic movie at the same time. I thought it was pretty good. Hacksaw Ridge, I honestly don't know why I couldn't even finish it, to be honest. It's just like your typical Oscar bait, and it's like a war movie, World War II movie. So I guess that's like your standard war movie that comes up every year.
And Mel Gibson, oh God.
I think Mel Gibson was behind it. This is his way to sort of win his way back into Hollywood society.
Yeah.
The story is pretty interesting. This guy who refused to fight, but I honestly didn't see why.
I didn't even bother watching it with you.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. So let's start with Best Actor. And so we'll work our way up to the Best Picture, because I think we'll probably be the most opinionated on that.
Okay.
Best Actor, we haven't watched every movie.
We've watched a lot. Rishi's watched more.
I've watched every Best Picture nominee except for Fences.
Being married to the man in the biz has its perks, so I get to tag along on all these movie dates with him.
Yeah, by being in the biz means I pay theaters to watch movies. And I have a lot of points tagged up in my Cinemark app.
And host an awesome podcast about his findings and opinions about these movies.
So Best Actor, we have Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea, Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, Denzel Washington for Fences. I think that this will be a toss-up for either, in my opinion, Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea or Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic.
IMO, I think Casey Affleck, but other than La La Land, I haven't seen any of the other movies, so
I thought Casey Affleck
is very emotional.
Right. He did really well, and considering his reputation for being kind of a dick, or I don't know, just being kind of weird.
Yeah.
I thought this movie was a good play off of that. I think Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, I think he's paid his dues. And I thought this movie, I actually just watched it today, and I thought it was pretty well acted by Viggo Mortensen. So personally, I hope Viggo Mortensen wins, because he was in Lord of the Rings, and all Lord of the Rings actors should get everything in the world. I don't think Ryan Gosling is going to take it for La La Land, personally. Actress in a leading role, we have Isabelle Huppert for Elle, which I hear is a great movie. I need to watch that. It's like a woman gets raped or something in that. It's supposed to be really good. Ruth Negga for Loving, which I also hear is good. Natalie Portman for Jackie, which I hear isn't that great. Emma Stone for La La Land. La La Land, I haven't heard a lot about that. And Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins. Don't even know what the hell that is. Are those 3 words, Florence Foster? What is that?
That's a name, a proper noun.
Yeah. I actually thought Emma Stone did really well in La La Land. I think she carried the whole movie, in my opinion. I think it's a toss-up between Emma Stone or Natalie Portman. I hear in Jackie, I haven't watched it, but I hear Natalie Portman really held up the movie really well.
Yeah, see, I'm having a difficult time commenting in this category because I've only seen La La Land and
None of these movies, except for La La Land, are Best Pictures.
Yeah.
So
I think Emma Stone did well, but I mean, I think she's on par with Ryan Gosling, right? Like, yeah. If he's not going to win, then I don't really see her winning. But I think some of these other movies have like a deeper plot, so maybe it would be more of a serious role. So I guess I'm going to have to hold off on
Yeah.
my opinion on this one.
Yeah, so I personally think Emma Stone will take it, but we'll see. One thing, so we talked about Best Actor and Best Actress, and talking about like how the hosts will be. So Jimmy Kimmel, will see how political he gets. I don't think he'll be too bad, but he has a way of making some comments, but then moving along very quickly. But Chris Rock last year, he kind of did his whole kind of stand-up bit on diversity. But one point that he made, which I thought was great, is why is there a Best Actress category and a Best Actor category? Like, it's not, his joke was that it's not like athletics where, you know, women, that, you know, they clearly...
It's because women are clearly the, the better sex, so gender. I don't know.
So they have their own category.
Men can't compete.
Men can't compete. Yeah, let's go with that. I like that story. All right, so let's go to Best Supporting. We have Mahershala Ali for Moonlight, Jeff Bridges for Hell or High Water, Lucas Hedges for Manchester by the Sea, Dev Patel for Lion, Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, we haven't seen Nocturnal Animals, but
I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that this is between Dev Patel for Lion or Mahershala Ali for Moonlight.
Oh my god, I hope Dev Patel wins.
Dev Patel did really well.
Oh my gosh.
I'd like to see Mahershala Ali win this, actually, for Moonlight. I thought he did a really good job. And
Can I just say that Lucas Hedges
in Manchester?
Yeah. I don't know where, like, what his background is at all, but I feel like he kind of made the movie. Yeah. I actually think Casey Affleck made the movie, but Lucas Hedges did really well, good
too.
Supporting.
Yeah, good supporting. And maybe that's what you need.
I don't know if he's going to be a winner, though.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Actress in a supporting role. We have Viola Davis for Fences, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, Nicole Kidman for Lion, Octavia Spencer for Hidden Figures, Michelle Williams for Manchester by the Sea.
I really like to see Octavia Spencer get this one.
She won last year or a year before for Help, I think, or something
we haven't
else.
Seen that. We should see that.
Yeah.
But Hidden Figures was so good. I think she did a great job. She's just a great character.
She did do really
actress.
well. I don't think she's going to win because she won. We haven't seen Fences. The Moonlight, Naomi Harris, she was the mom. She did good. Michelle Williams was only in Manchester by the Sea for like a half hour, but she like totally killed it.
Nicole Kidman did a really great job too, but again, she was a very small role in Lion.
She did do very well in that.
I guess I can't speak to Fences, but Octavia Spencer had a pretty significant role in Hidden Fences. I mean, in Hidden Figures.
That's funny because I called it Hidden Fences too. I think we're probably looking at Viola Davis for Fences, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, or Octavia Spencer for Hidden Figures winning this one. IMO, as the kids like to say. I wanted to touch on quickly Best Documentary. Just considering the current political climate that we're in, 3 of the movies here are kind of dealing with civil rights issues, the Black Lives Matter, like different. So the 5 movies here are Fire at Sea, Life Animated, and then I Am Not Your Negro, 13th, and OJ Made in America. So those last 3 there, those are all in some way about like civil rights. I Am Not Your Negro and 13th, I haven't watched that. I Am Not Your Negro is supposed to be something about the Jim Crow laws and the evolution to modern society, and how those laws are like, the effects of those are still permeating society to this day. 13th is about like how prisoners are like modern slaves.
Oh, yes.
Which is
It's on Netflix, right? Yeah. Oh, we should catch that. I definitely want to see it.
The only one I'm kind of seeing here is OJ Made in America, which I want to highly recommend. That's basically why I wanted to stop on this. OJ Made in America is about a 4 to 5 hour movie. You can watch that on Hulu. So it's about OJ and his whole thing, but it's not so much about the trial necessarily. It's more about like how the racial riots in the 90s and all this stuff going in LA, Rodney King and all that kind of stuff. But even before that, all the stuff going on in the 60s and 70s, how all of that sort of boiled up into basically white people feeling guilty and not wanting to frame OJ as guilty. It's just really fascinating
that the political climate had an impact on his judgment.
He basically has spent his entire adult life and his career tap dancing for society, which was primarily white at that time, and just being a good boy and not being involved in protesting and that kind of thing. And him reaping the rewards for that, and other people kind of falling to the wayside because they decided to stick up for...
And didn't he essentially leave his black family, wife and kids for Nicole?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he left, 2 kids behind.
Had an affair.
For the dollar.
Yeah, exactly.
What we do for the dollar. All right, so let's get into the meat here. Directing. Action. So for directing here, I think Damien Chazelle is gonna get it for this one.
Yeah.
So that's the guy behind La La Land.
It's super unique.
It's a unique movie. He brought back musicals in the modern time.
And it was just so picturesque.
Very picturesque, yeah. Other than Damien Chazelle, I think Barry Jenkins, who did Moonlight, I think he may get the credit for that because it was an artistic movie about the ghetto. It's a very unique kind of thing, I thought. And then Best Picture, everyone's favorite. Who's going to win the Best Picture? So we have Arrival, Fences, Arrival with Amy Adams, Fences with Denzel Washington, Hacksaw Ridge with Andrew Garfield, Hell or High Water with Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges, Hidden Figures with Taraji P. Henson and Octavia Spencer, La La Land, Lion with Dev Patel, Manchester by the Sea with Casey Affleck, and Moonlight with Mahershala Ali. I personally think Arrival should win because I love that movie, and I think it propelled science fiction forward, in my opinion.
It was a really cool movie, but I don't think it's going to win Best Picture.
And you know who's not here? Deadpool. Deadpool propelled the superhero genre forward with its first rated R superhero movie. Yeah, March or something like that. Oh. Deadpool is not here. That should also win.
That was a cool movie.
In its absence, Arrival should win, in my opinion. But Arrival's not going to win. I think Arrival should win. Who do you think should win?
I think Lion should win. That's no secret. I have, out of all these movies, out of all the ones that I've seen, so I haven't seen Fences, I haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge or Hell or High Water. Lion, just the emotions I felt through the entire movie. Definitely a tear fest, but in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
In a good way. And it's just good to see that there's, real, good in the world, even though there's evil. There's still these people that adopted this Indian boy who would have been homeless otherwise. It was just such a sweet story. Loved every minute of it, and is definitely going to be one of my favorite movies of all time.
Lion. Okay, cool. Yeah, and I haven't seen Fences. I've listened to 2 people talk about it, though, and both people who talked about it said that it actually was well acted, but if anything, it made them want to watch the play that it's based off of more than enjoy the movie. So, Hacksaw Ridge, as I said before, I'm not really sure where that came from, but, it's Mel Gibson. I think that's that. Then Hell or High Water, I'm not really sure why that got a Best Picture nom either. It was good, but it's Jeff Bridges, and I guess that's why. It's like your Western where Jeff Bridges is an old man, and he's a lovable, crotchety old man.
It's good to see that there's a big variety of different types of
that's
movies
for sure.
Best Picture.
Yeah. So I think it should be Arrival, but it's not going to win.
I think more than likely it's probably going to be La La Land. Let's just all be honest with each other here.
Yeah. Quick credit to Hidden Figures for, they make it seem like it's all about the civil rights movement. But actually, in reality, it's...
all about NASA.
It's about the work that NASA did in getting John Glenn up on the moon.
The
civil rights stuff was just in there.
About that is that, the civil rights stuff is important, but it came about by these three women just wanting to excel
Advance
in their own
right.
professional life. And it wasn't some big stand that they were taking. They were just like, this is me. I want to do better. So I'm going to ask for what I want, and I'm going to get it. And made huge strides in the civil rights movement with that. So that was really cool.
Right. So it's partly what you may expect. It's mostly not. So a lot of the theaters will put up some of the Oscar films in their theater for people to watch for a certain amount of time. The Detroit Institute of Art, they have a film theater, and they screened all the Oscar shorts, the animated and film shorts. And so Vanessa and I watched that. And
side note, thank you, Sonal and Labu, for inviting us out. It was a cool time.
You guys are seriously so cool. Thank you so much for inviting us to that. That was fun. So short film animated, we have Blind Vaisha by Theodore Ushev, Borrowed Time, Pear Cider and Cigarettes, Pearl, and Piper. Piper, people may recall, I believe that was the short before Finding Dory.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I actually got to say, I think people should watch all of these if they get a chance. It's kind of interesting.
It's amazing how much you can say in such a short film. Like, it's really cool.
And even in a little longer than you may expect. Pear Cider and Cigarettes is about a half an hour long.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. So in general, Blind Vaisha is about a woman who in one eye sees the future and in one eye sees the past. Borrowed Time is about a guy who was sort of indirectly involved in his father dying. Pear Cider and Cigarettes is sort of like a noir told by the perspective of the main character about a friend who runs into some drug trouble and money trouble, and so he has to save him. Pearl is about a father and daughter who drive in a car, and it's sort of like a cool thing about the passing of time from the car's perspective. And Piper, which is about a cute little bird who
has to fend for
himself in a world where the ocean tide comes and could sweep a young little chick up off its feet. My vote will go to Pearl.
I'm going to give it to Borrowed Time.
Okay. Alright, so now we're going to do short film live action. First off, we have Anime Entre. I don't know if I'm saying that well. And that's about basically immigration control in France. And an
association with terrorism.
In association with terrorism and sort of that whole kind of thing. This Algerian man is applying for citizenship within France.
And he gets heavily vetted.
Even though he's lived there almost like his entire life.
And Algeria was once a part of the French government.
Yeah, or something like that. Then we have Sing, which is a Hungarian film. About two little girls. You weren't able to watch this one.
Because I was eating ice cream outside the theater.
That was a cute one about two little girls in a choir. La Femme et le TGV. TGV is a train. It is a Swiss French film about a elderly woman who owns a bakery in a small town in Switzerland. Her activity every day is waving at the train, which her house is right next to, the train tracks. Then we have Time Code, which I think was a Spanish film. That's by a person named Juanjo Gimenez. I could be butchering these names, but any press is good press. And Time Code was a fun film with relatively little words about the fun that may occur when you're a parking lot attendant.
I think just leave it as that.
Yeah. And then we have Silent Nights, Silent Nights is about a guy who's Ghanaian and he comes to this country. He's homeless. And it's sort of a take on both the treatment of homeless people.
Well, he's a refugee too.
And like the whole refugee thing as well. So we have a couple here that are about sort of refugee stuff with the Anime Entre and the Silent Nights. I personally, the one that stuck with me the most probably Silent Nights.
I agree. That's the one that stuck with me the most as well.
Yeah.
But I did like La Femme et la TGV.
Yeah, me too. That was a fun one. Thank you so much for listening. Watch out for the Oscars. It'll be a fun time.
Woohoo! Catch you there.
So, and that's a wrap.
There it is!
Watch the boom as it booms all around. Barenaked reviews in your town. Well, not in your town, but via digital means. Get off your butt and join the naked team, y'all. The naked team, y'all.